All capital letters. Wow. 2 straight weeks, night game, SEC overtime. And the Longhorns survive again. This time it's 45-38 in a shootout at Mississippi State. They got it done. Arch Manning injured in overtime. Matthew Caldwell throws the touchdown that gets Texas the win, and the Texas defense, when it needed to, made a stop. We're watched it at TCH Social Austin. Thanks to them always for having us out. Lively environment, as you can imagine. I see super chats coming in. Big money goes first in super chats. Remember that. Anwar will check in if his ears aren't still ringing from all the cowbells. Jeff Ketchum's here, obviously, with me. And here we go, Catch. 45-38. Texas keeps this season alive. Paddles to the chest were needed, but they are still 6-2 after a crazy win.
Yeah, I mean, I think almost the place you have to start with what we just watched is to, excuse me, consider the alternative. This was a team that, you know, as its last rites were being read in this game, down by 17, and, you know, quite frankly, it looking more like a boat race was about to happen than Texas making a comeback.
Yeah, 2 different 17-point margins, too. Not just the 31-14. It ends up 38-21. They still fought out of that one.
I'm just letting you know that, like, I was prepared for I told you, like, life's going to suck, man. Like,
right.
For me, this is just going to, like, be a life changer. This season will be officially over, right? You'd still have somebody who would probably come into the postgame show and say, if they win their last 4, they could still. At some point, you got to prove that you could just win the one in front of you. Mm-hmm. And it's really been a difficult task for this team. But so I think, again, to talk about what they won, you have to talk about what they almost lost. And it was everything. Everything. Yeah. I think that,
just like last week,
the amount of pressure that would have been on Steve Sarkeesian just at the postgame press conference when this is over with, given the context of what today's been and all the things that have happened all day long. Real gut check moment. I think Steve Sarkeesian is going to show up today and he's going to go, we've won 3 straight games, 2 on the road in the SEC. You know, I mean, and he's not going to be wrong. As much as you don't want to get carried away, they have now, you know, they did beat Oklahoma and they did beat Kentucky and they did beat Mississippi State. And like, they are, you know, they're alive.
Yeah.
And
does he get to talk about culture wins tonight?
I think he will absolutely talk about a culture win tonight, because he'll say down 17 points twice, you only win that game with good culture. And he's not wrong. Like, I think that something kicked into that group when they were absolutely at their most desperate. I don't know what it means for next week. I don't know what it means for Vanderbilt. I don't know what it means for any game on this schedule beyond what just happened tonight. But everybody can take a deep breath tonight. It is a 6-2 team. It'll be ranked somewhere between 15 and 20 tomorrow nationally. Oklahoma lost today. Like, on some level, you just got to accept the gifts when they come. There's a lot to unpack in this game. The defense was wretched until it wasn't.
Yeah.
Very much like Colin Simmons at the end. Colin Simmons didn't get to Blake Shapen the entire game.
Boy, he landed on him when he needed to.
Until he did, right?
He put it all into one play.
And I think the defense will say kind of the same thing. You gave up 38, but when push came to shove, this team needed the defense to make a play, even kind of at the end of regulation when it looked like they might give up the field goal. Like, this team lives on the edge. It's not a very, very good team.
It is not.
But they had a great moment tonight. It was a great gut check moment, saves the season. What does it mean? It's a stay of execution for now.
Yeah.
That this is a team that the games will get more difficult. They have to play better. But it's also a team that gets to come home, Chad. Like, they haven't been home since September 22nd.
42 days.
And I don't think that we talk about this as a young team and a team that's had to deal with a lot of stress and pressure. It's a long time to be on. I don't know anybody else in college football that hasn't been home since almost mid-September.
Yeah, there's in terms of the actual time, there are a couple teams that are dealing with it, but it is unique. Weirdly, A&M's got a 45 5-day stretch that they're in right now. And of course, they're in Baton Rouge tonight. But yes, it is a rarity for teams to have to deal with it. They have, and now they're going to come home. Instead of off of a crazy loss, they're going to come home off of a win, and the fans get to see them.
And it will be one of the biggest games in college football next week.
No doubt, because Vandy got the win today. They survived the game with Missouri. It was a tough, hard-fought one. They started at 10. They're going up further into the top 10, so it'll be probably a top 15 matchup in Austin next week. Sadly, it's the only sad part about it is it's been set for an 11 a.m. kick already. I wish they'd waited. That's the only thing I think that's bad about it, because I'm pretty sure that's right. They've already said it. But, yeah, so now Texas is going to have to come home and get ready for one of those kind of games that can be strange. But, man, what a ball game. 2 straight weeks, different types of games required. You had to win a bar fight last week, and this one was an absolute shootout. If I tell you at kickoff Mississippi State's going to score 38, there's just no way I would think Texas wins that game. But they found a way.
No, and I probably, if you'd told me 38 beforehand, I would have thought, okay, well, then Arch had one of those games. It was kind of one of the things that I was watching at 38-21, or that as it hit 17, you were like, geez, they haven't even had the backbreaker yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you haven't had the play that a desperate team tries to make. And in reality, Arch Manning was the best version of himself probably this season in the second half. If I go back and look at his second half numbers, he was 17 of 27 for 247, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers, and made some big plays with his feet, did all the things that he needed to do. You know, again, tonight, as bad as things were, he only has the 1 interception. You know, again, he's gone on the road, and the one thing you'd say about him is even when he's not playing real well, it doesn't always make the killer play, the play that takes a uh-oh to a uh-oh. It's not Carl Lewis in the national anthem quite.
Yeah, right.
Blake Shapen was fantastic tonight. And at the end of the day, it's just, again, there's a lot to unpack from this. And it almost feels like you got to go space by space by space. There's a lot of stuff not to like. But the end result, man, it reminds me of that scene in Bull Durham when they're on a little bit of a winning streak, and Nuke's walking down the bus, and he's like, I love winning. You know, it's like better than losing.
Better than losing.
And that's the way I feel tonight. Like I was prepared for a miserable evening. I don't know that it's going to mean anything in a week from now. Yeah. But tonight, it feels like a big deal. And congratulations to this team and the coaching staff for hanging in. They'll feel really proud of themselves, not how they got there, but that they got where they did. Yeah. And they deserve to. Like, as bad as there is, this was impressive in a lot of ways.
All right, let's start hunting for big money. Bryson, thank you for $49.99. Went from I'm staying away from Texas content for a week, we ain't making a bowl, to get to the OB Live, we're going to the playoffs. Whoa, okay. Reality is this is an average SEC team. Hey, right now the record says they're not average. They're a little better than that. But Bryson, I think we could understand that feeling. But, yeah, the swing of emotions is crazy when it looks like you're getting your third win that way. Catch, I heard somebody at TC8 Social Austin here use the phrase nail in the coffin, because that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
That's where it felt like it was headed. But they got out of it. Mississippi State, somebody's going to have a chat later that says Mississippi State was worse than Texas was. Okay, fine. There were some moments they'll go back and look at. That team should have won a couple SEC games this year. They just didn't get it done. Once again, the other team probably deserved to win. I could make that argument for Mississippi State. Maybe not quite as much as Kentucky, but I could make it. But they didn't get it done. Deserves doesn't matter. What matters is who made the plays. Texas made the plays once again.
I mean, deserves is really subjective.
Yeah.
Because for 3 quarters, Mississippi State deserved to win. But I look at the end of that game, Ryan Niblett deserved to win the game. Arch Manning probably played well, and so did Blake Shapen for that matter. Like, if there's anything that feels unjust today, it's that Blake Shapen played as well as he did. Kind of reminds me of Ole Miss against Georgia a week ago, where it was like, oh, come on.
Or how about Tennessee against Georgia?
Yeah.
One of those performances.
Where it's just like they played that well, and then sometimes the other team just finds a way. That's what losing 15 consecutive games at home does, and that's what if you're
now
Texas
16 overall, SEC 16 overall.
If you're Texas, that's now 16 of 18 conference games you've won.
Mm-hmm.
And so, somehow the repetition of what those two teams do week in and week out, I think kind of revealed itself late in the game. But Ryan Niblett made a big play, and Arch Manning makes a big play, and Emmett Mosley makes the catch of the season. And look,
Dude,
Matthew Caldwell comes in replace of Arch Manning, and he throws the touchdown pass. And I don't even know how great of a pass that was, but it goes down in the record books as a touchdown, and it was very chance mock to B.J. Johnson in the corner against Texas Tech, where not completely similar, but you've got the guy coming off of the bench, throwing into that kind of corner. Great catch over the shoulder.
Real speed, I thought there was no way he was in. No way. And then I go back and watch, and it's like I thought Caldwell had thrown it a little too far, but then Mosley, man, gets credit for that toe. That was
still am not completely sure, and I think had they said the call stands, I would have been like, I get it. I mean, I think they got it right.
I did too.
But I think isn't usually enough to overturn.
Yeah, but because they called it a touchdown, got to leave it.
That is true. That's right. Well, originally it wasn't a touchdown, but you're right. Then they changed it to a touchdown, and then they had to prove. You're right. Then they had to prove that it wasn't. Right. And you're right. That does switch everything, actually.
And think of the little bitty things in this game too, where the other official goes over and argues for the Livingston touchdown.
Yeah.
Earlier in the game, just little bitty things. Obviously, the field goal Texas makes barely that get where the field goal happens, and there's a penalty, and then Texas gets a touchdown out of that earlier in the game. There's just so many things in this ball game.
The thing is interesting is that I thought when it happened, I was like, well, they'll review it, so it's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. In the end, the review's everything. It's about, is there enough to overturn it? And the moment you flip that around and say, do you know it's not a catch? And it's like, I don't actually. Like, I don't think it is. But again, I don't think's not the same thing as you absolutely know. And so in the end, and by the way, A&M looking good early against LSU in College Station. No, I'm sorry, in Baton Rouge. Okay, look at those end zones. They were hyping up Baton Rouge before the game a lot. Death Valley, impossible to win. A&M's doing the damn thing.
I mean, it's a tough place to win.
We'll see.
20-1 under Brian Kelly at night.
That's the reverse jinx trying to.
I like that.
Pepper some on you there.
I'm gonna try some too. 20-1 catch. It is impossible to win in Baton Rouge at night. Don't you know that?
All right, so let's go to the super chats. There's a lot to get to, and again, I almost don't know where to start.
Yeah, man.
If I'm being completely honest, I will say this, guys. We're getting a lot of super chats. The ones that come in with the most amount, they obviously go first. Yep. Otherwise, why would we encourage someone to send in a big dollar and then it has to sit behind $2.99? So
I'm looking for 20 and up right now, and here's a 20 from Angry Hammer. We won this game because they were more terrible than we were. Catch, did Sark keep the fan base today?
Well, I think that's what tonight salvages. Look, I am not even on Orange Bloods right now. I'm trying to do this, and I'm trying to finish up my article a little bit. There's just a lot going on, but nobody's going to want to hear it tonight. Everybody saw it. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be said. And you won't, and consequently, you're not going to hear people. Sometimes you just got to be thankful for your gifts. Everybody, I think, understands the implications of tonight and where they may, like, for instance, they can't really play another game the rest of the season, and we just assume that the defense. I know both of their two bad games are on the road, but they now happen to teams where it's like, man, if they can give that up to Mississippi State, then they can have a bad day against anybody.
The Florida one, I could try to explain a little bit. This game, Bothwell doesn't play at running back for Mississippi State. They really didn't take that many shots with Thompson. It's just not a team that should score like this against Texas. But catch, to find the silver lining, it is you got to win games different ways. If Sark says that in the postgame, I'll let him do it. You've got to win games in different ways. We just referenced A&M and LSU. Think about A&M this year. They went on the road to Notre Dame and gave up 40-1. They won a game last week against Arkansas. Arkansas scored 42 points. But is everybody ripping on the Aggie defense? No, because they survived. They got by. They scored what they needed to. Texas just won two very different kind of games, but we all know what happens. We know what happens if Vanderbilt scores 38.
Yeah.
Right? We know what happens if Georgia scores 38, but every game is different. They're 6-2. We said it after the Florida loss. Can you get to Athens 7-2? They're 1 game away. They are 4 quarters away from getting to Athens at 7-2 with a chance to really reset everybody's brains on what they can be. It's a long way away, but it's also next week. So.
But the thing is, like, Vanderbilt's beatable. Not that Texas isn't, but it's not. It's the Georgia game feels like, we'll deal with that.
Speaking of tough places to play,
when that arrives,
yeah.
Because boy, if Texas has struggled on defense on the road against Florida and Mississippi State, shudder the thought that what Georgia might do to them.
Yep.
Considering it is Georgia, and Georgia's done some things to Texas. But this week, business handled, bottom line, and that's really what you got to focus on. Next week, they'll know they have to play better. They will. And look, we're probably going to go into a week where Arch Manning is going to be on the injury report.
Yeah, certainly hope he's all right. That looked like concussion stuff because as he goes,
his head banged on the ground pretty damn hard.
Well, as he goes down, the defender didn't mean to, but the defender kind of helped his head get banged into the ground, and he didn't have a hand or an arm or a shoulder to really support himself. That was tough. Certainly, you hope he's okay. All right, as we look through super chats here, I think there was another 20 spot, and I think it's right here. Jordan, thank you so much for $19.99. I can't with this team. Glad they won, but 2 weeks in a row of this, at least they came to life on offense this time. Sark and Flood still have to answer for this O-line, but it's a win, and sometimes you just got to win ugly. Catch the offense, the rushing numbers in this game. At one point, it was 1.8 a carry for Texas. I don't know where it all finished in terms of total and yards per carry and Wisner and Baxter, but it wasn't near enough. I am shocked they couldn't run against this Mississippi State team. They were 97th in the country against the run. Teams had run up and down the field on them. Texas couldn't get in. I wasn't asking for 300 yards, but I couldn't believe Texas didn't try to establish it and really get after the run game in this one. That's where I would agree that Sark and Flood need to figure something out.
Look, the running game today, 72 yards on 32 carries, and it's just not good enough.
I'm shocked it got to 32 carries. It didn't feel like it was headed there.
The running backs, the two guys, were 68 on 21. And in the end, a lot of that was even a little bit late. They popped the big one right after Arch goes out that popped it for 8. You know what I mean? There was
Wisner, the one up the middle.
But the longest run of the day was 10 yards, at least by a running back. Arch had a 15-yarder. But and Arch, Arch would have got, if they lose this game, Arch would have got killed. But he did a lot right in this game. He had some big drops. It was,
oh my goodness,
Ryan Wingo had one of those nights.
Oh, catch. They caught the first drop. They get him on the sideline staring into his own hands, spitting on his hands. He drops the other one. It was 2, right? It was the longer one, and then that was the one was that in overtime or just fourth quarter? The short range one as they're going in.
It was in the fourth quarter.
That's fourth quarter. My God.
It was when they were down 38-28.
Yeah.
And they were looking to cut it potentially to 3. And then that drop was on 3rd and 5. And
just horrible. But he also made the 3 biggest plays of the game up to a certain point. The swing pass early, and then there's other plays. Like we've talked about this sadly before, but when some of your best players are making those mistakes, it really can suck the life out of your team. But watch this game. Watch the biggest plays of the game and tell me you can't throw it to Wingo. You've got to. Number 1 has to be a part of your plan, but number 1 also has got to hang on to those footballs and make those catches. Be the guy. You're acting like a one receiver for a lot of the game, and then you have those drops. It's inexcusable. I don't know what to do to fix that. I don't know how to fix it. It's the old, do you talk too much about it, not enough about it? And I don't know. We're going to carry the ball around campus. What do you do with a receiver? Stick it to his hand? Literally?
You just have to grow up with those guys,
Yeah, it is tough. By the way, speaking of sticking, the old saying is anything can be fixed with, duct tape and glue. duct tape, baling wire, glue, whatever you want to say. How about Ryan Niblett? 3 games and 4 monstrous returns that you cannot overstate. The touchdowns on the end, but those 2 in the middle against Kentucky, take one of them away and they probably lose. The field position swaps that he was able to create last week, and then that energy boost, man, TCH Social Austin almost came undone when he goes down the sideline.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that energy.
It's the second time we've seen that happen in 3 games.
And the reason I bring up glue is that's how Banks described him. At the early season thing with all the coaches, he was asked about Niblett, and he said he's a glue guy for us on special teams. And, man, he has stuck this team into wins these last 3 weeks. You cannot discuss these games without discussing him. Good on you, Ryan Niblett, for finding a spot on this team and just continuing to work. That's an incredible story.
What do we call Arch's performance tonight? What was that?
It was
like, what do we call it?
It was effectively shaky. No, that's not right. It was effectively something. I mean, if I tell you he goes on the road and
was he the best part of the offense?
Yeah, because he's the guy that threw it to Wingo.
Let's take him out for a second.
Okay.
What's the best part of the offense tonight?
Are we taking Wingo out as well?
No.
Okay, Wingo.
So it's Wingo with all of the Wingo-ness?
Yeah, I got it. Because those plays were so big. That first play of the game, they were the longest plays of the game, through the earlier part of the game was him. So I got it. I mean, I would say Wingo.
Who's second?
People can jump in the chat. Tell me, Mosley makes that big catch, but that's just one play. Livingston made a couple plays. Is Livingston the next guy?
I mean, I think the collective receiving unit had a good day, but it also had some drops.
Yeah.
I think Arch was really good today. I don't know that the statistics completely show that. He finishes the game with another 143 kind of quarterback rating, which is kind of where he's been hovering in.
Isn't that the highest against a Power 4?
Not since last year against Mississippi State.
This season, though. 141 whatever against OU.
I'd have to go back and look, but that may be right.
I think that's right against Power 4. So that,
It wasn't 144 last week.
That's a neighborhood. If you tell me that at kickoff, I'd say, okay, Texas can win that game.
Not if you tell me Texas only rushes for,
well, yeah, I just,
a smidge of, I
still can't believe it. I still cannot believe that part. Maybe Sark could be asked, and this is too technical, I know, but is that the CJ Baxter you thought you had? Was Baxter 100% for you, considering that that's what it looked like? Baxter, Wisner, did you feel like you focused on them enough? Did you feel like you tried to get them involved enough?
Can I give you an all-time great performance?
Okay.
Anthony Hill, 10 tackles, 6 solo, 2.5 sacks, 3.5 tackles for loss, 4 quarterback hits, and a forced fumble.
Imagine if they left him in the game for all the key plays.
They got to stop taking him out, man. They got to stop taking him out of the games.
Oh, my God. That's an incredible line. All he needed was a sack, fumble, scoop, score, touchdown. My goodness. That's incredible. That's incredible. And as you mentioned, Simmons makes a big play when he needs to late. Ethan Burke with a couple big plays. Blocked?
He blocked the field goal.
The blocked field goal, and then he finished it, right? He was the last guy. The last play was Ethan Burke as well. Shout out to the Westlake.
He was also involved in the goal line stand earlier in the
earlier in the
second half.
Yeah, there you go. Defense stepping up in spots. Obviously, a game where it's different kinds of stuff, and we'll be interested to hear from Anwar where Sark goes with the media. Where does the media go with Sark in a game you thought was headed towards maybe a loss, and then it turns around and it's a win and you survive it? We'll hear from Anwar a little bit later on. Thank you guys for throwing us super chats. The biggest money I see right now is $10 from Money B. What up, Money B? Great to see you tonight at TCH Social Austin. Guess I need to stay away from TCH. Offense woke up when I left. Catch, I hope this was the second defensive bad showing you mentioned before the season. Survive and advance.
I'm worried that what tonight is. I don't want to worry tonight. I just want to be thankful
Yeah.
that it happened. But there are just a lot of implications about what tonight means.
Yep.
One of the implications is like this team won't quit.
Yeah.
Like, that's an implication.
Yeah, they didn't stop.
They don't all have to be bad implications. The implication is that next week is a game that matters, as opposed to you are never going to be able to convince Texas fans.
Oh, can you imagine?
At
11 a.m. kick? Can you imagine? Like you said, be thankful. Be thankful because now the Kegs and Eggs kick against Vanderbilt feels a little bit different. And there's pressure on both teams, but Vandy will carry a lot of pressure into that game. And now Texas has to find a way at home.
I had a sentence in my article that gets deleted that was like, you kind of got punked by Jeff Levy.
Ooh, yeah. Thankfully, you got to take that out. That was a good delete. Did that feel good? Boom, 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 boom. Delete.
Never has deleting
That's nice.
my lead ever. Because if I delete the lead, I got to write the whole damn thing over again.
Yeah, too bad he can't delete what he knew in Waco, but that's another topic. But yeah, I'm glad you got to delete that.
Knew. You can't delete what you know.
No, you can't delete what you know.
You'll get no snarky catch tonight. Really, this is one of those. Nobody's going to overreact and act like it's something that it's not.
No. Texas fans are
I don't even know that you can do that next week if you win the game because you still know you're living on a razor's edge, and Georgia is right around the corner.
Yeah, as long as Kirby's group is waiting on you in Athens, Texas fans knew that game's coming for a long time.
By the way, Steve Sarkeesian gives, according to Anwar Richardson on Twitter, no update on Arch Manning.
Yeah,
I mean, he's going to be. We know what this is going to look like. They'll take it to game day. Like it looks like a head injury. It looks like a concussion. And so like there's protocols that they're just not going to know whether he wants to play or not. He's got to go a certain amount of days without any concussion related symptoms. And then the clock starts and then it can't stop again. And I think everybody's got to get really used to the idea that Matthew Caldwell may have to play. There's no way to know. But it's definitely on the table.
Yeah, I mean, if you were headed into the bye week, it would be a lot better for that particular situation. But now, not only could you have Matthew Caldwell as your starting quarterback to start that Vandy game, you'd have KJ Lacey one play away. KJ Lacey would have to go in as your true backup there, which is a whole nother, another situation to deal with. So we'll see if that's it. And obviously, Sark will probably lean on the injury report thing pretty heavy this week because he doesn't have to let people know till Wednesday. But that Wednesday night report now, people are going to be looking for Arch Manning's name and what it might say.
You know who else won tonight?
Who's that?
Enchiladas.
I was going to ask if you're ready for more enchiladas.
I mean, I have to. I feel like if I don't eat the enchiladas, this is a loss tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, people don't know I ordered enchiladas at 8:00 this morning to be double safe.
Oh my God. You had some today too?
I had to reorder. I ordered from this place called Compadres, Texas.
Good for you.
Because I was like, the people were disputing the realness of the enchiladas, and I wasn't taking no chances.
Yeah. You went out of your way. And then Texas rewarded you. They rewarded you with another hard-fought overtime victory. If you have Texas in overtime at your place in the SEC at night, you better finish them. You know what they've been the last 2 weeks, Catch? They've been what Kirby Smart called his team, hard to kill.
And look, I'm going to give myself one more pat on the back and all the credit.
Please do.
My tweet on October 11th in the second quarter of the game.
Your Niblet starter?
Ryan Niblet as the starting punt return man is not working. It's game 6. I saved the season, Chad.
Well done.
I saved the season.
Have you gotten a thank you note from the Niblet family yet for what you've done?
I feel like I should get some NIL money is what I feel like I should.
You really should. Because you know what? Motivation is what that is. You sense that he needed motivation.
I know.
And you motivated him.
Sometimes you have to.
Well done.
You have to dare the football gods to do something. Right. And that's what I did. I did that. Look, I posted it moments afterwards, my reverse jinx powers are so powerful. Like,
So
I knew
good.
what I was doing.
So good. So good. All right, you guys, if you want to throw your super chats in, you can do that. I am scanning for some decent amounts of money. I do not see a ton of
I'll
them.
tell you what, I made a Dallas Cowboys Troy Aikman metaphor
Mm-hmm.
a couple of weeks ago in the Florida loss,
Okay.
where I had mentioned that, there was a moment he had kind of reminded me the valiant nature of the performance against Florida. Kind of remind me of the day that Aikman was playing against the Cardinals as a rookie. He throws a pass to Jamie Dixon. It's like an 86-yard touchdown. He gets knocked unconscious. No, 65 yards. And then Arizona comes back and wins the game.
Mm-hmm.
But Arch had a little bit of that today. Like, if they lose this game, I had it typed out. Arch Manning was valiant.
Yeah.
Kind of whatever we want to say.
Right.
He was valiant in the fourth quarter. Kind of sucks for him. I'd like to have seen him put the finishing touches on this and have that, because it, that would have been his fourth touchdown pass of the game if he could replicate what Caldwell did. And that was a fourth quarter overtime comeback for Arch Manning, the first of his career.
I think so. Yeah, got to be, right?
I mean, before you can do it way down the road in a much, much bigger game, you probably need to do it the first time.
Yeah.
And tonight he's down by 17. He led this team back to a victory. Even if he didn't put the finishing play on there, he gets them into overtime. He gets them the first down that sets up the game-winning touchdown. It was good for Arch, man. Like, he will have felt also this week after kind of being doubted again after just a wretched performance against Kentucky a week ago, that he needed something like this, and he did it.
Michael, I see your $20. Before that, Adam, $10. Hope Michael Dell is ready to back the Brinks truck up for some offensive linemen come spring. Offensive line had certainly some more of those issues tonight, but got it done. Got things protected somewhat when they need to. Still can't believe they couldn't run better, but we'll see what happens next week. $20 from Michael. Grateful for Arch tonight. Wingo has to be better. Don't forget Arch ran one in as well.
What was Wingo? Let me see what Wingo's final numbers were. What do you think they were?
Oh, geez. Wingo is what? 4 or 5 catches for like 120 or 130?
He's 5 for 184.
Oh, God. 184. Okay.
Long of 62, average 36.8. He was targeted 12 times.
I mean, I'm telling you.
He caught 5 balls out of 12 targets, and he finished with 184 yards.
He goes over 2 bills if he catches those 2.
Oh, he goes way over 2 bills.
Oh, my God. It would have been you'd have been looking up like all-time receiver performances for this team. Unbelievable.
Yeah. And 3 drops. So that's the night he had. 5 catches on 12 targets for 184 yards, 3 drops. Like,
I mean, Arch and Wingo, honestly, Arch and Wingo are this team. They are the microcosm. There's so much you'd go, oh, man, it's right there, and the talent and the thing. And then they can go the other way and make you think, oh, my God, how can it be that it can't be that bad? Yeah, it's just weird. Both of them will swing both ways, the positive and the negative. But, Michael, thank you for that super chat. If you guys want to jump in, feel free. I think I saw another 10 spot here earlier. We got that one. How about this one in BK817? We fall in the rankings next week. Don't care. Love the win for $9.99. You're saying Texas maybe goes up a little bit.
Well, look, Oklahoma won't be ranked above Texas.
Texas was 21. Is that right?
Yeah. So
Oklahoma's got to slip a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, there are some teams that by the way, I'm catching up with you here. So haven't seen anything that you need to completely worry about yet, but I'm catching up on the super chats for you. Did we get Michael's 20? Grateful for Arch?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got it.
Well, then we're good.
Yeah, we got that. And again, Anwar, I'll check in from Starkville. He said it was loud as hell with those damn cowbells. Texas got out of it. They figured it out. It is one of those wacky places, but Texas survived it. All right, we got a lot of smaller super chats here that we could get to. We can clean up some of this while we're waiting on Anwar. $4.99. Let's start every game down 17 in the fourth quarter. No, Matt, that's not good. And not a good idea. By the way, if I saw the stat correctly, Sark's second win when he's trailing going into the fourth quarter. The other one was the Tuscaloosa win. So at Bama, think about that. Both on the road. At Bama and this one. Trailing going to the fourth quarter, he's won 2 of those games.
Can I read you Sark's comments on the report tonight from Deanna Rossini from The Athletic?
Excellent. I like that he was asked about it. Go
when
ahead.
asked about the reports today,
quote,
"It really pisses me off that one person can make a report that in turn the entire media sports world runs with as factual to the point of my agency and my agents have to put out a statement that they never have done. I had to do that to protect my locker room and my team," end quote.
There it is. Okay. Okay. There you go. Big distraction. Maybe. Hopefully.
Here's what I know. Or here's what I don't know, actually. What was in it for Deanna Rossini? I still like, it was a throwaway line in a 2,000-word column. If it's clickbait, she puts it in the lead. That's the lead.
Right.
Texas coach is one of, as the job market opens up, Texas coach Steve Sarkeesian. The whole thing's just weird.
I keep wondering did she have a story and then she had that and somebody just told her, all right, make that the story and then just tweet out the part about Sark.
But even that came 18 hours after the story came out. My initial reaction when I saw it was that somebody didn't get the reaction they were hoping that would get.
So,
hey, maybe. Can you, I don't know. It's a weird thing because I don't know what's in it for her. That's a woman that spends her entire life being questioned. And you know what I mean? She always, as a woman in this industry, has to kind of do extra to make sure that she doesn't get stuff wrong. So that's really emphatic. The agent and the coach are super emphatic about it.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated how that whole thing unfolded.
Yeah, me too. I would ask the question of, if it had not happened, how would it have been? Why would she have just made it up out of thin air? There's no reason for her to do that.
Now, look, it's possible that she would have heard that from an NFL team, but I get the sense that Sark, I don't know. I think she reaches out to Sark's people or Sark directly. Sark's got a lot of NFL reporters' numbers. Like he's pretty dialed into that. So I don't know. Like, I'm fascinated as time goes on to hear what what the vibe is, if that's vetted out a little bit. But in the end, that doesn't have to be a big deal tonight. We've barely talked about it, and it would have been among the first things we talked about. That's what winning tonight did. What did Texas lose? Texas lost an apathetic fan base. Texas lost a disastrous loss. Texas lost an Orange Bloods meltdown. That's what winning allowed for tonight. For all of that to be lost. And again, hey man, sometimes you just got to take those W's and don't ask questions. Sometimes you just don't ask questions. And tonight's one of those don't ask questions. Everything that you're going to ask a question about, let's just wait and see how this plays out a little bit longer. It is the most nothing matters other than the W since the 2015 Texas OU game, where the Miami stuff with Charlie was starting to happen in the backdrop of that game. You'll remember he shows up on the Monday after the game and actually says Miami in the press conference. Remember that?
Oh, geez, I forgot about that part.
But when you don't lose, and when you win the game, you can do things like make Freudian slips about the team that's being talked about as the school you're looking at. And people are like, oh, look at Charlie just saying Miami out loud for giggles.
Unbelievable.
That's what winning does, though, man. Winning. Literally, I had to jog your memory that even happened.
I'd forgotten.
Think about how crazy that was.
That was wild. Yeah, I'd totally forgotten about it. Oh my God, I'd forgotten about that one. All right, if you want to throw a $20 super chatter up, we will get to those. We'll throw up some of these here. Never a doubt, hashtag Sark Griswold. Never a doubt tonight at all. Our man ATX Bates that was watching the.
What did I do?
Whoa, I'm not sure what you did. Is that you that did that?
I don't know what I did.
Let's do that right.
I'm just trying to hit super chats. That's all I'm doing.
Okay.
Now, what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, I thought I was doing something, and now
What have we done?
I'm not sure. Let's go. Hang on. Well, let's go there.
Okay, I'll settle for that.
Yeah, there it is. All right.
I'm not pushing anything anymore.
Fair enough. ATX Bates, $4.99. Sorry, Catch. I thought you were going to get out of there. It is. Okay. All right. There we go. All
hey,
right.
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good. Matter of fact, watch this. No more live stream for me.
Sorry, Catch. I thought you were going to get out of the enchiladas deal. You're still on the hook. Arch is gutsy. Certainly is. Hope
I'm going to have to go to the bathroom before I leave here. Just that was,
right?
that was 8:00 this morning.
Oh yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Ben, $4.99. I don't care how ugly it was. That was a heart and fight. Makes one emotional watching that roller coaster of emotions. Way to fight. SO fight. What's SO?
Shout out.
Help me. Shout out. Thank you. Shout out to Arch and Ryan. Yeah, man, Manning and Wingo with some big moments. There were some that weren't terrific, but there were also really big moments from those guys. Thank you guys for those super chats. I will continue to scan for some of the other super chats here. Anwar coming up from Starkville after a crazy win for Texas in overtime. Colby, $5, thought it was over. Went to Lupe Tortilla with the family, ordered enchiladas, and no sooner did they hit the table than Niblet houses the punt. Look at that. Everybody's eating enchiladas and saving the day.
Here's the thing.
Well done, Colby.
People thought I was crazy when I suggested that the football gods and the Tex-Mex gods.
Hey,
I bet they hang out with the barbecue gods too. Like that just sounds like a crew of people.
I'm just telling every Texas fan watching, damn near 1,000 of you right now in the Specs chat. All y'all need to go have some enchiladas this week. All of you.
I no, just Michelle and I.
But no, I mean, Colby says he ordered them and then Niblet took the punt back.
I mean, you can't harm. It doesn't sound like it could not hurt.
Couldn't hurt. You guys clearly need to do it. We know y'all need to do it.
But look, that was the reason why I couldn't hurt. Was the reason why I ordered them again today. I was like, couldn't hurt.
Remember the details. You and Michelle need to go, if you can get together, that helps. Order the enchiladas.
You know what I told Michelle yesterday?
Be as picky as you can. Ask them to do weird things with the enchiladas and then eat a little bit and you should be fine.
I told Michelle yesterday, I said, this is like second lunch in 3 weeks. This is almost making us best friends. And I told her that Heather would have come if, and she goes, oh, if Heather comes, that would have made me a family friend. And I was like, she's really close at this point. By the time we're done with enchiladas, she might be over at Christmas. Look at the families together. I don't know.
Yeah, never know. It could happen. It could happen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, live from the land of the cowbells. I hope you can hear me. Ears aren't still ringing from those damn things. It's Anwar Richardson after another wild overtime victory. Anwar, this night stuff in the SEC is pretty exciting, huh?
It is. And so the cowbell thing was real. They had an outdoor press box here, kind of like Gainesville, which I love. Because
Anwar, real quick, can you do me a favor and double check your mic? Feels like you're coming through the computer and not the mic in your hand. Can you double check it for me? I just want to make sure we're getting you as clear as possible.
I mean, everything looks good on my end.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, if that's what we got,
it might be the acoustics of the room.
Could be. It could be the room. I just want to make sure. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. I was saying it's an outdoor press box, so I was actually able to hear everything, and we'll get into everything that Sark said. But it was cool. There was a couple of guys though. I'm not going to call out some of the Austin media members who actually brought earplugs to the game because they thought it might be too loud for them. I'm like, tighten up. They're like, you want some? I'm like, no.
You want some?
What the hell's wrong with you guys? Sark spoke afterwards. If there's a shot game that you guys are playing at home, Stark said it's a what? A
culture win.
Oh!
I said culture.
Drinks for everyone.
Woo! I win. I guess culture win earlier.
He said, hey, I know I said last week you only get one of these a season, but I think this one's a mulligan. because this was a culture win.
There it is.
So yes, everyone do a shot at home if you had that on your bingo card. But he talked about them just being, down, obviously, as far as down as they were, being able to kind of fight back, that the way that they were able to do. He basically talked about them not blinking. And he's like, look, you guys have covered sports long enough. You guys have done this long enough. You guys know that, hell, when you see certain teams and, they're down 14 heading into fourth quarter, some teams fold. But, he was just really proud of their toughness and what they were able to do. And now he did say, like, hey, we can't continue to live life on the edge like this. But, obviously, he did mention that being a culture win for them. As relates to Arch, no updates as of right now. He said he'll give us an update on Monday, which will only be an update if it's a non-update. If there's anything of substance of it, then we know we won't really necessarily get that. And we kind of know how that goes. He talked about the complimentary football thing. He kind of said, like, last week, defense played well, special teams played well, offense didn't play as well. But he told the guys, hey, but we got to win. This week was kind of, the defense didn't play as well. Special teams played well, offense played well, but at the end of the day, they still got to win. And so, for him, it's all about the complimentary football kind of thing that they've been getting. He talked about them being able to battle. I thought the most interesting thing, quite honest with you, is that he kind of went off on the report about him going to the NFL.
Yeah, we saw that.
Let me see if I can read this to you. And I'm going to post this on the board, Catch. So in a second, he goes, it really pisses me off that one person can make a report that in turn the entire media sports world runs with as factual, to the point that my agency and my agents have to put out a statement, something that they have never done historically at CAA. They've never done that, but he goes, but I had to do that to protect my locker room and my team. And I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. He said, I thought it was completely unprofessional of that person to put that report out. And the fact that everybody ran with it is borderline embarrassing for the media. He goes, and I respect what you guys do. I really do. And everybody else. But the fact that everybody ran with that as truth is really embarrassing. Now, I don't think people ran with that as truth. I think people ran with that as her report. Yeah. I don't think anyone said, like, oh, yes, Sark is gone. Let's work on a list of replacement candidates. But he's a lot, it's after one. Of course, he's going to say it. He goes, I've got a real small circle. And when I make decisions of what I do, and nobody would speak on my behalf without me knowing. So where that report came from, I'd love to talk to that person because it's absolutely ridiculous. So that was Sark firing back at that report. It's probably one of the more interesting things.
That's emphatic, Anwar.
That is very.
It was about as emphatic can be. Yes.
Yeah.
Beyond that, Anwar, I think that was probably the next question we knew that happened. So we were definitely going to ask you about, like, your bird's eye view of that moment. The next most important thing to mention from a Sarkeesian press conference standpoint, or do we move on to, like, what?
Yeah, I think that's the most important. I don't think, it wasn't like a long thing. I would say that's probably the most important, is him basically saying, like, and he looked pissed. He looked real kind of pissed when he was talking about it. So, I would say that's probably important to know.
All right, Anwar, like you mentioned, it's your first time to check out not only that environment, but you got to hear it and see it and everything at the same time. Give us your thoughts on this game, which at a couple points looked like Texas couldn't get out of it, and then they got out of it.
Yeah. Look, I was starting to think, heading into the fourth quarter, what I was going to do with my free time in December. Like, that's what I was starting to think. I'm like, shit, I don't think I'll be doing a lot of traveling in December. I wonder if I can go to, Trail of Lights, or wonder if I can go to, Mozart's and see the light show and stuff. And there's a few thoughts. I think two things can be true. One, hell of a comeback for Texas. a hell of a hellacious. You could give them all the props and kudos for not giving up, for fighting back, for not throwing in the towel, for finding a way to get through it. And that fourth quarter was absolutely amazing. I also think to the second part of that, as you can say, it was a huge choke job by Mississippi State as well. They were at home, had Texas on the ropes, and some questionable play calling, by their offensive staff at times. But at the end of the day, Texas got hot and they really started clicking. I think, and I'm going to make bold declarations. I did that once, a couple of years ago.
I just want you to know that my ears and eyes just perked up because I don't know what you're about to say, but my spidey senses are going off.
I think I'm gonna word this one differently than I did a few years ago. I'm gonna word it differently because before I worded it a little bit too emphatic. I will say this: Arch Manning for the first half of this game looked like a guy that I just said to myself, I don't know what the hell is going on. They're just gonna have to do a lot of work with this guy in the offseason. By the end of the game, I said to myself, this could be the game that Arch builds on to start taking the next levels of, I just want them to be good at this moment, right? And not even great. I just want him to get to good. And what I saw from him, from the throws that he was making, I have been banging the table week after week about Ryan Wingo and how I don't believe no matter what, you can have a Texas offense that's effective if Ryan Wingo is not a part of it. I do that. I've done on my shows every Friday, 5 Keys to Victory. And every Friday I was like, you got to get Ryan Wingo involved. I thought that Arch just looked like this could be something he builds off of. And if Arch Manning can say, rebound from this, and when I say rebound, like the injury that he had, right? What the hell happened to my connection? My connection got lost for a second. Am I still here?
You're good. Now you're good. You're back. You're back. We got you.
Mississippi State. Am I back? For
yes.
real?
Now you're back. Yes.
I see you.
Okay. Okay, perfect. No, it said on my end I was done. I wasn't in. So
no, you're good.
Good. Okay. And no, I think it's a positive sign because it's the biggest thing that's been lacking for Texas has been this offense. That's been the biggest issue. And this is an offense that puts up 45 points. They haven't looked that good against a Power 4 team this season. If they can do this, replicate this, and all of a sudden, all the things that we talked about them achieving is still on the table, right? But if they lost this game, they wouldn't be there. So I would say those things make it kind of from a positive aspect. I think there's a lot to build on, for this team, going forward. And now I go into like the Vanderbilt, then Georgia, and everything else, saying to myself, okay, I'll tell you this much, Catch. Last thing is when I start thinking about the Georgia game and a week or so, I'm going into this game, I'm like, damn, I don't know what the hell Texas is going to do. But I also feel like, man, if they can go and get squeak out some of these wins here and get some confidence going, now all of a sudden I don't look at every game like, shit, I don't even know if this team's got a shot. I look at it like, all right, let's see what you can do. And I think that's a little bit of a difference for me.
Anwar, kind of the general theme for me has been all the stuff that I had written down midway through the fourth quarter just doesn't matter. Sometimes you have to just be thankful that a W occurs, right? Because you think about what this team would have weighted it if it doesn't do what it did, and it's the stuff of nightmares. Season's over. Sark's really, I think, under fire, and like how he handles the press conference. It was just, it would have been what it was going to be, and Orange Bloods would have melted down, and the postgame show would have just been toxic, and just all of it added together. I come away from it, and I can't explain it, and I don't know what it means for next week or the next 4 games, but they won tonight, and sometimes don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Like this feels like one of those moments where sometimes you just got to be thankful that the football gods don't hate you in a moment, and they will at some point down the road.
You might have to get paid back.
But
Maybe,
it wasn't
but-
tonight.
Yeah.
And, hey, man, at the end of the day, Anwar, they did not let Jeff Levy get scoreboard on them. And I do not think that is insignificant.
Dude, I mean, look, this is now look, the way they're able to win, because there's two ways to say it, like, oh, we should have never fell that far behind. But you did, and that's okay, because then you're able to come back. And you're right, like, this is one of those. The big thing with Sark has always been, Sark has always been, and you and I have talked about this for the past couple of years, Sark is unapologetic about winning and not having style points. He is unapologetic about that. He's like, hey, what is that saying, don't care, got sex? He's that person, right? He's like, I don't care. I walked out of here with something, that's where he's at. And so, and at the end of the day, look, if you got 6 wins, you got 4 games left. You get the win against Vanderbilt. Now all of a sudden you got a quality win against a top 10 team. With 3 games left. Yeah, this is one of those like at the end of the day, this might this might be Houston from that year or 2 ago, right? Was it 2 years ago? 2 years ago when they beat Houston
2023
on the road. And you're like, how the hell did they pull that one out, right? And it took a special teams play, right, for that to happen. You just said, I don't know what the hell that was, but you know what? It's a win, and you just move on. And it just might be one of these things that you may be like, man, I don't know what the hell that was about. That was a crazy ass game up there in Starkville. But at the end of the day, they pulled it out, they won, and that's going to be all that matters and all that cares about. Now, there's still some time to go, but like you said, Catch, at least they don't have this thing hovering over them, because if they lose this game, it's a meltdown of epic proportions.
Yeah,
they don't have to worry about that.
Because this is one of the ones they couldn't lose. We know that. This team now has lost 16 in a row, Mississippi State in the SEC. There's another game, I would argue, is against a team that they just can't lose to, and that's Arkansas. We know what the other 3 are.
But when they get home, another thing I said, man, like at some point, we do have to, they hadn't played a home game since September 22nd. It's not like the rest of the season's at home, but
everything but Georgia is now.
But you know what, man? They got to be like a damn starving man in the desert.
Absolutely.
Being offered a Ritz cracker.
That's it.
It has been so long. I mean, what it's going to be, it's November.
Yeah, right. We said how odd that was, that the entire month of October occurred, and DK, they could have done anything in DKR, clean up a little bit, add seats. I mean, there was nothing going on.
They could have built a bubble.
Well, they're trying. They're trying. From what I understand, I know some people who tried to get to a concert recently at Moody. They are trying to do that. But yeah, Anwar, you're right. It was so crazy. But getting it done, having the 3 parts of the team contribute the way it did. And the other thing that I mentioned, Anwar, these last 2 weeks, you've watched it live on the road at night, SEC. Very different kinds of games required. I mean, last week was just a broken bottle fight. And then this week is, wait a minute, now you need points. Now you need to score. Arch, Wingo, anybody? And they made enough plays to get it done. If you told me the number was 39 to win this game, I would have said, well, somehow Mississippi State found a way, because I don't think Texas can find 39 points.
Shapen's 26 of 42 for 381, 4 touchdowns and no picks.
And they lost. And I was going to look interesting. I was going to look at Wingo's line and say, isn't it a shame if that happens in a loss? Because he was going to put up that pretty wild line. I know the drops are bad, but he was going to put up a line where you go, oh my God, he really steps up and feels like a wide receiver number 1, and you lose the game.
All those dudes for Texas, Anwar, all the guys. So Brennan Thompson goes 6 for 76 with a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah.
Darren Gillette gets 6 tackles, 1.5 sacks, and a pass breakup. Jure Bledsoe, I don't even see him on a stat sheet, but I know he was involved in almost got into a fight with
Yeah.
DJ Campbell, and I thought he was the guy that hit Arch on the way down, but maybe not. But it just felt like there were former Texas guys all over the field.
Yeah, it was going to be a haunted house loss, too.
Oh.
That was going to be a bad element of it as well. Anwar, since Ketch just mentioned Campbell, I'll just jump in there. Campbell obviously got banged up in the game, but then later returned.
Yeah, he came back. He played.
Yeah. Was Sark asked about it at all in postgame?
No, I don't think so. I mean, because he did play. He came back,
so we assume he's cool then moving forward.
I mean, he played. So, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
people think I've been drinking, Chad.
Is that right?
Somebody on Orange Blood says Ketch had a few tonight.
Yeah.
Is that because I'm like rational and stable? Like, what's happening?
I'm not sure. I can vouch for the fact that Ketch did not have anything to drink.
I mean, I don't drink.
He never does.
It doesn't happen. It's interesting too. I tell you what, though, when I tell you like two things can be true, but man, Mississippi State and some of their play calls on fourth down were just dumb. Like, did they watch film about running the ball up the middle versus Texas? Like, did they see like how hard that is to do? Because they didn't seem to think that way when it was all said and done. Like, this is the game that they'll look back. Like, when Jeff Levy gets fired eventually, they're going to look. This is going to be one of the reasons why. Like, what the hell were you doing a portion of the time? Like, there's just some just dumb ways, dumb calls. I thought this one and Kentucky, some of those guys were making dumb calls. It doesn't matter when it's all said and done, but you can also understand why. Like they put up all these numbers, but I just think there was some boneheaded decisions by their staff that led to it. And props to Texas, they took advantage of it. They took advantage of all the mistakes, short fields, all the things that they needed to do, Catch, and they come out, with this thing. And like you said, when it's all said and done, Sark will look back and say, look, we didn't play a game in DKR in the month of September. We had one loss, that was Florida. And we still have a shot. Like he can still, as crazy and bad things have been, he can still hang his hat and say, we only got one loss in the SEC. Like, whatever you want to say, that's the thing. Like, Sark was he'll unapologetically say, like, we're still good. And it's like, hell, I don't know how much you even talked about it, but even to have Matthew Caldwell come in and deliver the goods, like delivered a strike when it really counted. I don't know. His stat line's pretty damn good. But when he started off, I was like, oh my God, what the hell is this guy doing out here? Like, does this guy know where he's at? And then next thing you knew, I mean, he makes this just an incredible pass to Mosley. Defense. Then the defense started getting hot in the fourth quarter. Like, it's almost like they returned and started doing what they normally do. Yeah. It's great. It was a good win. It was a fantastic win. I'll be glad to have a game at home and it'll be 11 o'clock. So I don't have to like drive in the middle of the night and hope that I don't run into a deer or something and kill myself. That's the bad part of these remote ass places here. Yeah. Like, you just got to drive in the middle of the night into some BS. But I think I'll be all right.
Anwar, I'm going to throw up a $50 super chat here and get to a question. $49.99 went from firing Sark to loving him one more week from Eric. Earlier, Anwar, somebody asked Ketch in a chat. I'll ask you the same question, but the question was, did Sark save the fan base for another week? In terms of the mindset now, going back to these home games, where 3 of the next 4 are at home and things are still there for them. Do you think Sark, is that kind of what this was, sort of saving the fan base, whatever wolves at the door kind of a thing that he might have been facing?
I mean, it wasn't looking good for at least 3 quarters as relates to the fan base. It was pretty damn bad. So I do think this helps him, a little bit. And Tom G's got a 50 spot, but I'll just say this. I think it does help him, a little bit with the fans, of course. Now, look, I still think it's week to week. If you lose to Vanderbilt next week, I think the fans are still going to be despondent. If Vanderbilt comes out, controls the line of scrimmage, they're going to be a little ticked or something to that effect. But here, I think there's certain losses that the fan base can take. You can take Ohio State to a certain degree. What they can't take is Kentucky. What they can't take is Mississippi State. Like, you can't lose against those teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you lose against quality teams, that's a pill that's easier to swallow.
Anwar mentioned it. Let me throw it up. Thank you, Tom G. As always, $50. Great win. Our secondary missed Taff next week. Even in club, he needs to play. In a club, he needs to play. Number 17 was lost. Arch was so damn gutsy. He seems to play his best in the 2-minute. I will be there for a top 10 win coming next week. Book it. Gentlemen, it is fair to point out the one at Florida, the one here tonight, both involve a starter in the defensive backfield that is out. The Muhammad thing obviously mattered against Florida, and I would argue the Taft thing absolutely mattered in this game. Anwar, you saw it live there in person, but Mississippi State clearly focusing on the middle of the field where Michael Taft was not playing tonight.
Yeah, I mean, his presence, it was kind of obvious. I think, sometimes I think we gave this team a little bit too much credit in the offseason about plug and play, depth, all those kind of things. I think we gave him a little bit too much credit on that because it was like, well, hell, if Michael Taft goes out, I mean, look how many guys they got coming in. It's like, hey, you lose Johnny Barron, but you got Gilbo there. Like, of course this defense is going to be good, right? They're so stacked. And it's like, I think, they were able to go out. I thought Mississippi State had a really good game plan. I don't think, based off of what I saw, I mean, Taft's hand was wrapped pretty damn good. That don't look like a hand wrap that's going to be unwrapped within the next 7 days. Like, that looks like a hand that's wrapped for a while. So I'm not looking. That don't look like a guy who's coming back anytime soon. They're just going to have to find a way to adjust without him.
Yeah. Tom G, as always, we appreciate you throwing in a super chat. Anwar, anything we haven't hit from you? Catch any thoughts that you have right now on the game before we get back to super chats?
I was just going to say, I thought, it was interesting that in the end, Xavier Filsaime finishes with, I think, 8 tackles. And I noticed him on the field because it seemed like teams were targeting him, but didn't seem like Derek Williams played that much at all. And Derek Williams finishes with 2 tackles.
Okay.
So we'd spent a lot of time this week just talking about what kind of timeshare.
So it's way more Filsaime?
It certainly felt that way.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially interesting because Filsaime was on the injury report until today. But Michael Taft shows up in games, like, in really positive ways. Like, there were times when I thought Mississippi State got to the outside today. And it was like, and you could hear the people sitting around us going, "Come on, where is whoever?" It was like, that's a Michael Taft. That's where he just comes in and sweeps everything up, and that's what it looks like when he's second team AP All-American at the midway point this season. Only he and Anthony Hill were like in that kind of territory he's really important. And I thought tonight, if this season were to end and he just played every game, you'd have some Texas fans who'd be like, hey, a 5-star, probably my fault as much as anything, right? But like, there are 5 stars are going to take over for Michael Taft. And like, so we lose experience, but you gain NFL upside. And it's like, he's really good. Mm-hmm. And I think that he's just stigmatized by the fact that he was a former walk-on. But if we just never called him what he should have been as a recruit, which is a super blue chip, we would look at him like All-American badass instead of former walk-on who's now an All-American. It still kind of feels like he gets pity recognition. And I thought on a night tonight, when the defense really struggled at times to just keep Mississippi State under control, he's the under control player on this defense. And look, kudos to Anthony Hill because he stepped up huge. Yeah. Kudos to a lot of guys on that defense. And I thought Ethan Burke didn't get a lot of snaps tonight. Lance Jackson has taken his game reps.
Yep.
But he made a big play on the goal line.
That's a moment.
He made a big play at the very end in overtime. And
blocked field goal.
Yeah, and those plays were after the blocked field goal. So I think that there were some guys. There were a lot of small, big moments, and maybe nothing big, nothing that makes us go, "Oh, they're definitely beating Vanderbilt next week," and watch out Georgia. But a lot happened that a lot of guys played like you would expect them to play Anwar, and there were a lot of guys I think come out of this Ryan Wingo's one of them. Ryan, you can do that every week, man. Do the basics, and you got the hard. What I always used to say about Xavier Worthy, he makes the hard stuff look easy. He just gets open more than anybody and is always 5 yards open.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Wingo can do the hard stuff. He can do the spectacular. He can break tackles. He can do so many things. And sometimes it's just the basics that fail him. But if you're Sarkeesian and these coaches, you'll pull him aside and just show him the good and say, look, forget about all the other stuff. Look at what you just did. We don't win this game without your contributions. Just slow down. Let the game keep coming to you. You are so close to being one of the best players in the country at your position. I don't think that's true. But, I mean, you can tell him a story. You can tell Arch Manning a story. You can tell some of those guys on the offensive line a story that you definitely can't tell in a loss. And you definitely can't tell if those guys don't step up and make big, big plays. Like, it's not pandering to Ryan Wingo when you look at it and go, dude, you were like an eyelash away from 200 yards. And 200 yards and maybe 3 touchdowns if you don't get tackled where you get tackled. I mean, there's a lot of good baked inside of this almost terrible.
All right, Anwar, let's get you out of that press box as soon as possible. We'll go through these smaller super chats at that point. Give me some final thoughts on this when Texas escaping again.
Yeah, I mean, look, some people were asking you this past week, is Texas even going to be bowl eligible, right? So, okay, well, at least you can scratch that off your list, right? And I don't mean you, I just mean the people that asked you that question. And look, I think now you go into the last 4 games of the season, and it's almost like single elimination at this moment for Texas. One loss probably knocks you out of, SEC title contention and potential playoff contention. So they face a must win in the rest of these games. I think the most encouraging part is when you got a glimpse of this offense, you say to yourself, okay, well, now if they can replicate this, just maybe. Whereas before, we're like, man, this offense can't do a damn thing. I don't know if this team's got a shot. Now we know, okay, well, you can do it. And you can put up some numbers against teams that maybe you should be able to put these numbers up against, right? So I think for me, I'm probably going to leave this press box more encouraged about this team. Now, I'm not going to go overboard. Because, damn it, man, like it's Lucy, right? It's Lucy and Charlie Brown. Every time you feel like you're going to kick that ball, she just pulls that damn ball out of you and your ass is on the ground, right? So I'm not going to go overboard, but I could say to myself, okay, I've seen Texas win in these different ways. That makes a huge difference. And by the way, if I am a special teams coordinator, we're not punting to Ryan Niblett anymore. Like this is not a good idea. Like this is not a good idea. You might not want to do that, especially if you're in a close game, because he's literally been the game changer over the past couple of weeks. You do not want to F with that guy. Like it's bad news for you. So
I wonder what he gets in NIL after the season.
I don't know, man. 4 returns.
It's going to be good. It's going to be better. There's going to be a lot of guys who are asking for raises after the season, and they ain't going to get it. But he's going to be a guy. If he asks for it, he's going to get it.
If he don't want to get 20 pieces at McDonald's anymore, he won't have to.
No, he will not. He will not.
He's in great shape. So I'm good. It's good. Last thing I'll say is, hey, I've done went to Florida, got to go to Kentucky, got to go here. These SEC environments are lots of fun. They're really cool, places. It's been a fun journey. I'm looking forward to a game at home, but it's been a fun journey going to a lot of these new stadiums. So,
real quick, short answer, Anwar. How distracting and it sort of, I don't know, how much of an environment do those cowbells create now that you've heard it live?
I think it's a whole bunch of nothing.
Okay.
Because at the end of it's cool. But it's not like it helps them win. So it would mean more to me if you would tell me like and look at their record at home. It's like
Right.
that's
Yeah.
there's nothing to hang your hat on about it. Is it cool if they're winning? Sure, but Mississippi State's not really been a powerhouse program. They've been doing this cowbell thing for years. So
Yeah.
I think it's a cool environment. I thought it was loud as hell. I thought it was fantastic. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the hell out of it, to be quite honest with you. At the end of the day, I think people put too much into it because they don't have the results to show that those cowbells really mean a damn thing as far as wins and losses are concerned.
Fair enough. Anwar, so you have more?
I was just going to say, tell the wonderful people of Mississippi that I said, what's up?
I'm not mentioned. They have not been this despondent since what? Since when?
No.
Just let them know. Just let them know that Jeff Lebby knew. That's all you need to do.
I'm gonna try to get out of here alive and not mention your name. How about that?
That's probably a good idea. Anwar, safe travels.
All right, guys, take care.
That is Anwar Richardson live in Starkville, Mississippi. He's going to get out of that press box and head home. Let's clean up these super chats that are there. No massive amounts left. But we got Blake with a $9.99. Arch through 10 games as a starter. 34 total touchdowns, 24 passing. 6 picks, 8-2 as a starter. 150-ish passer rating. Solid start to career with an exclamation point.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Solid.
Eventually the numbers after 10 games are solid numbers. There's nothing about that that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And that's roughly what Quinn Ewers was doing a year ago with better talent.
He finished at 149 for the season, I think.
Yeah,
something like that. All right, let's hammer through these. $4.99, Noble Powell. What a win. Shout out to Kayla. When it's 17, they come all the way back. Kayla for president. What? Okay.
I don't know, but thank you for your contribution.
Feels weird and maybe dirty. $5 from Madison. Put some respect on Arch Manning's resilience. He needs support from Sark and the O-line and the run game. Yeah, it wasn't pretty, but he was today's offense. I was going to say to Anwar, imagine, that offense did what they did. Yes, with Niblett's help and some overtime. They did what they did. Imagine if they could have run the ball. Imagine if they could have effectively run the football.
I also thought that, Arch, those are some tough throws he was making. He was, some of those were instinctual throws that I'm a little surprised that he made. There are balls that he threw up into spaces that's the right read, and that's the right throw. But you're counting on your receiver to run to the right spot. You know what I mean? Like we've seen that play materialize into something completely different because guys aren't on the same page. And there was some real risk taking that he was throwing NFL balls to the far side of the field along the perimeter. And he's throwing them before guys are making breaks. And, I thought that there were, at one point early in the fourth quarter, when he gets his second touchdown of the fourth quarter, and I guess, I don't remember what the score was, but there was a point where after he gets touchdown pass number 3, where his quarterback rating in the second half was over 200. It dipped a little bit just because the numbers were so extreme from not a ton of throws, and he threw the ball a lot in the fourth quarter. I think he may have thrown it 20 times or something like that. Like he let it rip in the fourth quarter, but he ends up, I think, being like 12 of 20 in the fourth quarter. And it was, when he does come back, whenever that is, it's an important performance for him. And this team, they'll know that he put them on his back a little bit. They'll know that they didn't do a lot in the run game. They'll know that they dropped some passes. They'll know that, oh my God, you asked them to score 38 plus to win the game.
Yeah.
They'll know. And so this was a game that you need your quarterback to continue as the season goes along to earn confidence. You look at Oklahoma right now, and I wonder, where are they at with John Mateer?
Right.
Do they have as much confidence in him going to November as they did in September? And I think the answer for Texas is, in going to November, I think they do trust him more. There's been a lot baked into October that I think's pretty damn good. They didn't lose. They're undefeated in October.
Yeah, that's it.
And I think that slowly but surely, Arch is doing some stuff that they'll be able to sell a story. I love the guys that show up at the TCH social in the post game or during the games for the watch party. I thought there was a lot of really harsh commentary on Arch during the game. And even in the second half, and I get it because when you're losing, it doesn't matter what your numbers are. You're the quarterback, and it's on your resume. But there was stuff like he was playing well in the second half.
Yep.
And it felt like you could just feel the fan angst. Why are you doing this? And why did you throw the ball away? Why can't you see that guy? And it's like, I don't know, man. That's tough to ask a guy to see everything all the time. Like there are times when he misses stuff.
Yep.
And then there were times it was like, I don't know, man. Like he threw the ball away and lived to play another down. And like, that's okay too.
Yep.
And I think he'll come out of this and everybody can just take a little bit of a deep breath. Whereas the tension was just so high. It's impossible. And now that it's over, it's impossible to completely go back and say, this is what it was. And this is what it was going to look like. But we were starting to feel it, I thought, at TCH Social. You could just feel it.
Oh, yeah.
The anger. Tex Blondo 5 showed up.
Yep. Great to meet her.
It's great to meet her.
I can now I believed that she was real, but now I can confirm it because I met her. She is real.
But even she was at times very frustrated.
Oh, she was very upset. Yes.
Like, and you know what? You had a row of people who were frustrated. And I felt like that frustrated. It's like in Ghostbusters 2. Like all the negative energy.
Oh, yeah.
It's like bubbling up.
The river.
Yeah. And it kind of felt like that was happening.
Yep.
And then consequently, the Niblet punt return it took the air out of in a good way. It took the air out of the balloon. All that negative tension. You could feel it in the exhilaration in the room. By the way, I would point to how rare my Oklahoma reaction on the Niblet punt return was, considering same thing happens 2 weeks later. And I'm all in, poker face.
You just stoic.
Read my face if you want to.
We also need to consider this. When Texas looked like they were in trouble and I stood up and walked away, Niblet.
People told me, you can't come back.
Right. I'm gonna need to watch games in a different spot now.
Well, here.
Right here. Right here, waiting for the post game. That's my new place.
Hey, we don't want to kick Chad's ass, but that happened as soon as he walked away. He can't come back. And I was like, I think he knows that, actually. I don't think he'll have to be told.
Yep. New deal. Maybe I'll come in, I'll eat, and then at maybe halftime, I'll just come over here and watch the rest of the game.
You owe the waitress $3.
Oh, okay. We'll get that taken care of.
I mean, I don't know for what.
I had a jellyfish.
Oh, she said, tell that dude he owes me $3. And I was like,
$3 special. $3 jellyfish. I got you. All right.
I did not owe the waitress $3, guys. Probably the most proof.
That's me.
That I didn't have anything to drink.
I had a beer. Catch did not. $9.99 enchiladas. Niblet Caldwell, our king from South End Zone Queen. What up, South End Zone Queen? We would have loved to have seen you at TCH Social Austin, but that did not happen. But thank you for jumping in on the post game. 24 unanswered points. Lawrence, it was amazing to watch that happen at 38-21. I thought the second 17-point margin was it. Texas still fought back from it. It was impressive. $4.99, J.S. Hookham. Niblet deserves all of this. Went through a lot. Now he's shining. Great team glue player. Yep. Reminds me when I cheered for Jay Witt. Little Jay Witt shout out there.
I just want to say for the record, my tummy hurts.
Enchiladas, because you winning. Sometimes winning hurts.
I mean, I am not leaving this place
without. Yeah. Okay. $4.99. Google's. Are you going to have to get up now? While we're going through?
I don't think so. But my stomach is unhappy.
Okay. They had a 2-score lead in the fourth. Still ran tempo. They were hiking the ball with 20 seconds on the game clock before Niblet tied it. Lebby knew. Thank you for the Lebby knew at the end, Google Scholar. We appreciate you for that. We are definitely a part of that club. $4.99 from Trey. How thin is the secondary depth? This and Florida are by far the worst pass defense performances, both missing starting DBs. They are starters for reasons. I know it sucks, but we got to give them the respect. You gave Taff his respect earlier. We clearly saw what it was like without Muhammad. It changed the defense.
Well, and look, Malik Muhammad got burned today by Brennan Thompson. I mean, You know, there were other guys, even players that have been really good all season long, got a little something put on them today. And what matters most is that in the biggest moment of the game, when the season was on the line and they could afford to give up nothing, they gave up nothing. But, you know, that'll be a defense. And I'll tell you what this will do. You go back to, was it Saturday where, Sark makes the comments about this team's identity is its defense and its special teams. And Colin Simmons is in the postgame. He says, no, coach meant offense, defense, and special teams. That's our identity. We play as a team. And they were like, no, Colin, he said y'all's identity was defense and special teams. And Colin Simmons was like, yeah, I don't care. I know what he meant to say. And what he meant to say was, we're an offense, defense, and special teams team. And like, that's what it is. And we play together, we win together, and like there's no separation. Today's one of those comments where the next time the defense has to bail somebody out, they'll remember that the offense bailed their ass out today. They just will. And that's really good for this team, because we're talking about a team that you wondered if they were on the verge of quitting. To come back and feel like they'll be more emboldened and that they'll be more together because they won in a different way that anybody probably even thought they could. That's, again, there's some things that happened tonight, not insignificant, even if we shouldn't go too crazy and start, I don't know, we need to be saying the P word just yet. But, man, next week's game matters. If you can win that game, then you've got 2 weeks to get ready for a game that will really matter.
Yeah.
And
chance to rest up, chance to get guys even healthier.
I mean, look, they still have something to play for. They still have something to play for. All
right, we got those super chats cleaned off. You saw some of those lower amount super chats there towards the end. Whoever that was on that $4.99, the gross one, I just put it up there. Y'all.
Why was it gross? Am I not getting it?
Yeah, no, it was just gross.
What's Kayla?
What's that?
What was Kayla?
No, not the Kayla one. No, it was a different one that was gross that we just didn't need to read.
I was like, what sex lingo do I not know?
No, not that. And the Kayla was different. Kayla was something special that I don't know about, and God love whoever's out there with Kayla tonight, man. Something's going on with Kayla.
You're going to have to tell me what Kayla means if you're going to tell me, like 20 minutes later that, like, hey, you that wrote the Kayla.
Not that one. Not the Kayla. It's a different one.
Fair enough.
I'll tell you when we get done. I'll tell you when we get done. All right. Final thought before we wrap up here. Texas gets the win and lives to fight another day. They're 6-2.
I don't really have anything that I haven't already said several times, really.
Okay.
I guess let me look at the stat sheet for a second. I always hate when sometimes you feel like there's some attaboys that you could have given. Parker Livingstone catches 2 touchdown passes. It feels like that's kind of all. He's like the Chris Carter of college football. He caught 4 passes for 22 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, that's just kind of what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't know how good Jelani McDonald was today, honestly, but he finished with 14 tackles. It didn't feel like a lot of them were of the game-changing variety, but that's not a lot of that's a lot of tackles. We mentioned Ethan Burke. We mentioned Colin Simmons. Alex January deserves an attaboy.
Yep.
1.5 sacks. Showed up. Hero Canoe, Murad Watson, Lance Jackson, all those guys on the defensive line that were rotating around took turns contributing. And on a day when Jure Bledsoe, credit to those guys, though, right? The former Longhorns that now play at Mississippi State. Those guys showed up. Jure Bledsoe had 1.5 sacks. Gillette had 1.5 sacks. Brandon Thompson had 2 touchdowns. And yet this game won't end with anybody feeling like, well, Jure Bledsoe would be. No, everybody will be like, our guys are good.
Mm-hmm.
That guy's okay.
Yeah.
Good for him. But our guys showed up and made plays. Brandon Thompson had the game that he has, but you'll be able to look, well, we wouldn't trade him for Parker Livingstone, or Ryan Wingo had the game that he had. And I think that, the end, this had a chance to be a gigantic shit sandwich. And in the end, it turned out to be like a Reuben.
Yeah.
And if you like Reubens,
hey,
It's a successful Saturday.
No doubt. Real quick, Sam here with a quick $5 one at the end. Can give Blake Gideon defense play calling is amazing. It's a lot of words, but I don't know if they all go together. Sam, hope you're having a good night. Thank you for the $5 super chat to round us out. All right, it is Kegs and Eggs for Texas and Vanderbilt. Come on out here to TC8 Social Austin next Saturday morning. They do breakfast. Biscuits and gravy is something that people have had. They really love here. In fact, our guy ATX Bates has an idea. Go biscuits and gravy and the bad beat bacon. Right? Combine that for the early kick. Come out and see us next week. TC8 Social Austin. Shout out to Adam Lowy and the Lowy Law Firm for bringing us the postgame show each and every week. They are the presenting sponsor. Also, shout out to Specs. All of you piling in the Specs chat. Here's a little spooky Specs for you before we get out of here.
When the savings are this good, the whole world takes notice.
Thank you all once again for jumping in the post game. We'll do it again next week. Thanks to Anwar for checking in from Starkville as well. Texas gets the win, 45-38 in overtime. Blood pressures and heart rates up and down and crazy, but Texas is 6-2. Check out orangebloods.com. You can join with that QR code in the upper left. Get signed up, get signed in. Check out the message board and everything that's going on there. And obviously check out us here at Orange Bloods Live throughout the week. Thank you guys for your support. Enjoy your week, and